But our top story and our continuing focus, the Delhi police is all set to submit its charge sheet in the bus gang rape case tomorrow. The police will submit the charge sheet in a sealed cover. The court will hold an in-camera trial. The police have also arrested the owner of the bus for violating rules to get a permit. The Chief Justice of India today inaugurated fast-track courts for rape trials in the national capital, including the one which will hold the bus gang rape trial. The Chief Justice Altamash Kabir, while inaugurating those courts, had sharp words for the police, a word of caution for the protesters. He said, and I quote, "If the Supreme Court directive to remove tinted glasses from buses was followed strictly, this may not have happened. Some people are demanding that we should hang them immediately, but we must balance things. Let us not get carried away. We must restore the faith of the people in the judiciary." Let me go straight first to our correspondent Parikshit Luthra to get more details on what happens tomorrow. Parikshit, first of all, it appears that this is now being conducted in extreme secrecy, in-camera trial and an e-charge sheet to avoid it being leaked.
Absolutely, Rajdeep. The entire process will take place in top secrecy. In fact, no official in the Delhi police is commenting on the charge sheet right now. When we talk about an e-charge sheet, it means that all the evidence, all the documents related to the charge sheet will be submitted in a compact disc before the court. It will be given in a sealed cover. It will be an in-camera proceeding. Nobody will be allowed to be inside court except the lawyers and the police. And even on a day-to-day basis, there will be restrictions on the reporting of the trial as well. In fact, the police will make a detailed statement on this tomorrow, and people who defy those orders may even be prosecuted. That's what police sources are telling us. But what we can tell our viewers is that the charge sheet will contain the entire sequence of events, starting from the time the accused Ram Singh and 5 others had a party at their place till the gruesome incident, and also all the evidence, including CCTV footage, material evidence and statements of the victim and her friend.
What about the bus owner? Where, there was a lot of pressure on the police to take action against the bus owner. They seem to have finally acted now. Will he be also named in this charge sheet?
Not in this charge sheet, Rajdeep. He will be named in a separate charge sheet because his offence is different. His offence is that of filing a false affidavit and cheating. He gave a wrong information to the State Transport Department. He filed a wrong address to get his registration papers and permit. Therefore, there was an inquiry done when this case came to light, and the police found out this wrongdoing. Therefore, they registered a case yesterday. He has been arrested, and tomorrow he'll be produced in court, and it is likely that he'll be sent to Tihar jail.
Okay, Parikshit Luthra, who's tracking that case for us, joining us on the charge sheet, which is going to be filed tomorrow. Her anonymity, meanwhile, united India as the nameless, faceless 23-year-old woman battled for life for over a fortnight at a hospital, first in Delhi and then in Singapore. The streets of Delhi and other parts of the country erupted like never before. Justice for her or she was the clamour. What will be the best way to honour Delhi's brave heart? Her family says it now does not object to naming the new anti-rape law after her, a proposal that was first mooted yesterday by Minister Shashi Tharoor.
This was the view expressed by Union Minister Shashi Tharoor, a view which hasn't found too many takers within his own party.
He is the part of government. He should have suggested to the government rather to give any statement in public.
Ironically, this statement from the Congress spokesperson came after the gang rape victim's family itself expressed keenness to name the new anti-rape law after her.
हमारा यही मानना है कि बेटी के अगर नाम से हो तो बहुत ही अच्छा है और ये होना ही चाहिए। पूरा देश जिसके लिए खड़ा हुआ है उसके नाम पर अगर कानून बनाया जाएगा तो ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव होगा और उसके नाम पर होगा तो उसका नाम अमर हो जाएगा।
The position taken by the Congress has now led to a full-fledged political war of words.
Wishes of the girl's parents, her father and mother, they should be respected in this matter.
सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट की जिम्मेवारी बनती है कि सर्वदलीय बैठक बुलाकर सबकी राय ली जाए और उसके बाद जो आम सहमति बनती है तब कोई इसके ऊपर निर्णय लेना चाहिए.
Everybody is after making some political gains because people are deeply angry. People have protested, especially young people.
But the facts suggest the Congress may well be going strictly by the rule book. Home Ministry sources tell CNN-IBN that there is no provision in the IPC for naming a law after a person. Section 228A of the IPC also prohibits disclosure of the identity of the victim in any manner. But to those protesting over the past fortnight, it's not the name of the law that matters so much as its impact and implementation. In New Delhi, Maria Shakil.
It was her, she had to face so much, and now her family, everyone will know them, and she might be having siblings and other people, so I don't think her name should be revealed to other people.
Definitely, if her family is fine with it, maybe, but personally I don't think so.
जो भी लॉ बन रहा है या बनेगा तो वो उस लड़की के नाम पे होना चाहिए, क्योंकि इससे क्या होगा, वो लड़की की यादें हमारे साथ रहेंगी।
इसके लिए कि हाँ लॉ उसी के नाम पे हो तो ज़्यादा अच्छा है। लॉ चाहिए हमें ये नहीं कि उसके नाम पे हो।
Should the identity of a gang rape victim then be revealed and an anti-rape law named after her? That's our first talking point tonight. Joining me now, Dr. Kiran Bedi, former IPS officer who has endorsed what Shashi Tharoor said. Meenakshi Lekhi, advocate and Mahila Morcha National Vice President of the BJP. Ranjana Kumari, Director, Center for Social Research. And Kavita Krishnan, Central Committee member of the CPIML. Appreciate all of you joining us. Kiran Bedi, you perhaps come out most strongly in support of Shashi Tharoor's proposal to name the anti-rape law after the girl. But surely naming the anti-rape law after the girl is not the issue. The real issue should be a strong law. To that extent, isn't this entire naming controversy becoming a bit of a distraction and should not have been brought in the first place?
I don't think it's a distraction. The two can run parallelly. You can name the law in her name, in her memory, and commemorate her. I think this doesn't in any way conflict. How does it take away in effective law making? Because after all, you have to give a name to the law, and you can name what even her father now approves in principle. And in no way does it hinder the parliament from enacting a tough law. I think there is unnecessarily confusion being caused. There is no confusion.
Ma'am, are you saying, Kiran Bedi, because this is the corollary from what you're saying, is that the girl's identity therefore should be revealed now? I'm presuming that when you say, therefore, that you support the law being named after the girl, you're also supporting the revealing of her identity, something which today, as of the law in the country, is prohibited.
No, not in the case of death. It's not prohibited. Not at all. I mean, there is a provision, there's an exception in this 228A where her name can be disclosed to a organization, to the chairman of the secretary. There is a provision.
If her parents want it, if her parents and family members want it, yes. But do you believe that they are in a position today to make that considered decision that they would like to reveal the name of the girl? We are a deeply conservative society. Isn't there a stigma that is associated to a girl?
Rajdeep, let's put the stigma a little aside. I've personally spoken to the father. I got an opportunity to speak to the father. And I asked him, are you all right if the name is known and if it is immortalized?
Yes.
He said yes. And then another question was asked, would you like to support this campaign? He said yes. In fact, he is for this campaign now. He is for the immortalization of this brave heart. And then I believe if the girl had lived, if she had survived, she would have been a crusader of this country for women's rights. She would have been a crusader for this. She would have come forth and stood up and said, I have gone through this, but I fought it back like this. And it's not a stigma. Don't be a victim, be a crusader. It's somebody else who made a mistake, not you. Stand up and fight for others' rights. This would have happened with this woman.
Okay,
I am for immortalizing.
I'm going to come to this point. I'm going to come to the point you're making, that you believe that naming the law after her will immortalize her. That's what you're trying to suggest. But Kavita Krishnan, in the past, women... Yes, ma'am, sorry. Correct. You want to say something? Sorry.
I just said go beyond that and name a women's university in her name. If we can name all airports, universities, roads in the name of people we want to remember, why can't we remember her for the brave fight? And she said, I want to live. And this is the only way we can pay homage, is saying you live through this act.
You live through this act, but Kavita Krishnan, in the past, women's rights groups have been conscious that no rape victim's identity should be revealed. There has been a question mark whether after death it should be revealed or not. There is a division of opinion even on that. Has the time come to change that? The girl has suffered. Is she to be stigmatized for life by treating her as someone who has no identity? Or should she be, as Kiran Bedi says, immortalized by naming an anti-rape law against her, give her an identity?
See, for me, the stigma is not an issue at all, okay? And were she alive, then it would be up to her, and we would obviously not name her. But for me, I don't think the debate for me is about the stigma. The debate is, where is this proposal coming from and why? Because I think we have all commemorated her namelessly. She has been nameless, and I respect the grace with which her father is wanting to commemorate her, and I fully support that. But what I'm saying is, we have commemorated her in struggle for women's rights. Now, a government which allowed this terrible incident to happen, which has not come out in dialogue with this ongoing movement at all, which has shown zero sensitivity to the movement, is suddenly a member of that government is mooting a proposal whereby he is trying to mileage that name and that courage and that brave heart to gain legitimacy for the government and for a law whose content and the substantive issues of that content, that debate is being silenced.
So you're saying that this is a government's attempt, you fear, to deflect from the real debate on the content of the law.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Ranjana Kumari, do you believe, like Kiran Bedi is suggesting and Kavita Krishnan, that the moment the parents agree, therefore, now the law should be named after this girl? Because there will be those who will say that here are parents who are grieving in a state of trauma, have lost their 23-year-old girl. Are they in a position to even resist if the government decides to have a law? Should they have the final say in this?
I have no problem with naming.
You have no problem.
I think Kavita.
Yes.
I think Kavita, I support what Kavita said, and Shashi Tharoor is in habit of, making irresponsible statements. I do not know if he has, as a cabinet minister, really honored is it the collective view of the cabinet of Government of India, or he has a right to tweet what he wants to. He has always made these kind of tweets which are...
No, what is irresponsible, ma'am? Can you be clear? Do you believe that the law...
he is irresponsible. Let me say, Rajdeep, from substance to symbol, that's what he wants to bring the whole debate to, and that's what we all have got engaged with.
No, Kiran Bedi is saying it will immortalize her. Sorry to interrupt. You say symbolism. Kiran Bedi says it will immortalize her.
She is immortalized.
No, Rajdeep, we have already immortalized her and the way students have come out, people have come out, everybody will remember her. Nobody wanted, you called her Nirbhaya, somebody called her Braveheart, somebody called her Damini. It didn't matter where she came from, what caste she belonged to, which community she is from. It didn't matter at all for people. And now here are these people who don't want to discuss, who are not willing to look at what kind of law we are putting in place, what systems, what preventive mechanism, and now everybody is debating. In fact, I remember the family statement, and as you rightly said, family, I do not know if they have such a big loss of a child going from the family like this. I do not know how considered their opinion is, but at the same time, I remember family said, leave us alone. They did make that statement.
Kiran Bedi, respond to Ranjana. Ranjana Kumari, you made your point.
Jumping on them to make a statement.
Let Kiran Bedi respond to what you said. Kiran Bedi, respond to Ranjana Kumari. She is saying that in a way, it is deflecting attention from the core issue, which should be the content of the law. That it becomes, some would argue, empty symbolism. What you call immortalization will be seen by others as empty symbolism rather than substance.
In no way, I first of all don't see a plan. I don't see a politicization of this. I think Shashi Tharoor has spoken as an independent citizen. He may be a member of the Congress party and a minister, but he's also an individual. He's also a citizen of India. I think that is why politics is becoming so suffocating, that we don't give a right to anybody to speak his own mind. And I don't know why we do that. I think we must breathe free, even as a politician. I recall the days when I used to speak as a police officer on police reforms, and my commissioner used to snub me, and I used to say, sir, I'm a police officer, but I'm also a citizen of India. I want police reforms. So I think we need to allow this independent space while being a politician. But Rajdeep, I have a very important question. What if the father of Damini or Nirbhay or the Braveheart father comes out openly, says, this is my daughter? This is my daughter, and she's my brave girl, and I am a father. I want to now take up the cause, and I want my daughter now to be immortalized. What will you do?
What will you do, Ranjana Kumari? Quick response. What if the father tomorrow says, this is what I want?
Well, Rajdeep is totally their choice. It's totally their choice. It is father who has lost a daughter in such cruel circumstances. I think it is his choice. I will leave it to him. But today he's not left alone. The whole media, all these politicians reaching his house, everybody asking them questions. I don't think this is a considered opinion of the family. Anyway, it's up to them.
Okay,
it's up to them to decide what they would wish to do with the memory of their daughter.
You know, but Meenakshi Lekhi, there is the worry, of course, which is now the underlying worry, which is that the political point scoring has become. A Congress minister, Shashi Tharoor, calls for the law to be named after the girl. A BJP leader, the Delhi BJP chief today says he wants the girl to be given an Ashok Chakra. Should, again, I come back to it, the focus for now at least only remain on the content of the law. That is where the debate really should be centered upon, rather than be getting into whether she should be honored with an Ashok Chakra, whether a law should be named after her. Are politicians playing politics with the girl's courage?
You see, first point which I would like to make is that we don't want a separate law in anybody's name. We want an amendment to the IPC, which is a law which is applicable across country in every district court. And that is a practical solution. By naming a separate law means we are making the law ineffective, because in the interiors of the country, that law copy will never even reach. So the idea is to have a law and amendment to the IPC. Now you want to call Indian Penal Code as XYZ, whatever, is your choice. I'll go to that extent. You want to change the name of Indian Penal Code, that's one statistic, and that's something one can debate on. But the idea is not to bring in a separate law, so there is no question of naming a separate law in anybody's name. Now,
but is politics being played? Is politics being played when you ask for an Ashok Chakra and the Congress says have a law named after her?
By whom, Rajdeep? Who started it? A government which has shown complete senselessness and lack of sensitivity in dealing with the issue, a government which has beaten up young kids for protesting, people who have been asking for change in law, people who have been thrown up with water cannons and tear gas shells, a government which was absent on the roads, a government which has not even called for a special session of parliament. There is no all-party meeting, nothing of that sort. Now, who is politicizing the issue? I may not have an objection to naming something after the child. That's a separate issue. You want to immortalize, I think 50% of the schemes which are named in the Rajiv Gandhi name or Indira Gandhi's name or Jawaharlal Nehru name should be named after this girl. I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine with it. But the idea is that this particular government is dealing with trivializing the issue rather than dealing with the substance of the issue.
You believe that it trivializes, you believe that this entire naming controversy trivializes the issue. Kavita Krishnan, is that the real danger? That we will now look for shortcuts. That a better way for immortalizing the girl would be a stronger law, gender reforms, police reforms. Why not focus on that?
Not just a stronger law and all the reforms, but I think to understand the spirit of the commemoration that common citizens have already done by empathizing with her. This nameless girl became every woman. Each of us felt it could have been me. And the way in which the movement has built up, that is the true tribute to her. And if we want to pay tribute to her, we should ensure that women who suffer violence get justice in future. And I think that substantive justice is something which is getting lost in the shifting of the debate over the naming. I'm perfectly happy. I welcome what her father has said. I heard him say it today. I could see the feeling there. I think that's fine. Her name, if he chooses to reveal it, is something we will embrace as we embrace her anonymity. As we embrace her anonymity.
If her father chooses to reveal her name, you will embrace that.
But I don't feel that an Ashok Chakra or the naming of a law is something which does justice to her spirit. The movement does justice to her
Kiran Bedi, an excellent article today in First Post says naming an anti-rape law after a victim would be an empty symbolism. Another article in Economic Times by Reshmi Dasgupta gives the other view that it's a powerful message and would immortalize the girl. Where is the truth? Somewhere in between? Is it empty symbolism, or is it immortalization, or is it somewhere in between, that typically in a country which is obsessed with names, where, as was rightly said, everything is named after the member of a particular family. We always look to name something, even before we come down to the substance of the law.
I think if we have to bring this case out of a social victimization, then it will need to be given a name and commemoration linked with bravery. When she said she wants to live, she told her father, "Main jeena chahti hu, I want to live." And had she lived, she would have taken up this crusade. We can make her live through this law. Secondly, I'm wondering, what is the name we will give to this case? Delhi gang rape case? Damini case? Nirbhaya case? Then there'll be so many Delhi gang rapes anyway. What name will the judge give? It, I think, has to find a name.
But what about the thousands of anonymous women? What about the thousands of anonymous women, ma'am, across this country who have had to suffer rape? And what about their stories then? Will they all be...
she's representative of that. She's speaking up for everybody. This case is actually representative of all that suffering and the bravery which has gone. And bring it out to the stigma of victimization and say, you didn't do anything wrong. It is somebody else who did it, who's going to the gallows, who will probably be punished for life or getting castrated chemically, whatever. But here is a brave heart. Here is a woman who fought back, and many women may have fought back invisibly.
My fear, I get what you're saying, but Ranjana Kumari, my fear is that what is slowly happening, it appears, the father and the family is being slowly brought into the media glare. The anonymity is disappearing. The protests may not have the same intensity that they had a week ago. Everyone, it appears, now wants a slice of the story, from politicians to activists. And at the end of the day, we may not really get what we really want, which is to make this a turning point for so that other women do not suffer what this girl went through. Do you feel that's a real fear?
I think, yes, I think, she has become a real icon, and this icon will remain in our minds and heart, and also in future, a lot of protests, women's movement are going to use this icon and this person, but at the same time, I feel that after 2-3 weeks, or maybe 2-3 months, when everybody forgets about like 75,000 cases which are pending, people have totally forgotten about those girls, she will also be forgotten, and all these emotional hype and, trying to, almost like first you kill a woman in the Sati pyre, and then you say, oh, let's make a temple of this Sati and let's pray because, she gave her life. I think these are the things we have to keep out of our total focus and discussion. We want a preventive system. I think Kiran Bedi ji has been talking about that. Let her do all those things. Secondly, we want a proper law. We don't want anybody to make any political brownie point.
Yes, but there
was Shashi Tharoor.
But to be fair,
we were standing in that road that Kavita and all her friends were there.
Kumari,
where was he?
Ma'am, I agree. But this is a country which has had a Sarda Act named after an individual. The Geeta Chopra case, if you remember 20 years ago when the girl was brutally killed, led eventually to laws. In America, it's happened where individuals have been named. Should we be different?
But Americans are used to making... No, Rajdeep. Americans are used to making laws in name of people. But India, we have never done that.
Why can't we change?
That's not the... Except
why
for
can't India change? Why should India remain frozen in time?
But as Meenakshi explained to you, these are amendments to a particular law. These are not, we're not creating a new law. These are amendments sought for a particular law already, which is IPC, Indian Penal Code. So I think, we have to understand that, people who are trying to make, use everything politically, emotionally, we should not do that. We should understand that there is going to be, unless we are going to, okay.
No, I take your point. I take your point, ma'am, but Kavita Krishnan, there's a feeling the law must be emotionless. Are we going to get carried away by the emotions?
Actually,
there's a fear that this debate is somewhere going to get emotionally surcharged.
No, I don't think. I think that, the fear is that there is no problem with expressing our tribute in some way. My fear is that the substantive points of the law, what kind of law do we want? A law which recognizes the wide range of forms of violence that women face, that expands the definition of sexual violence, that ensures that women that the biases are taken out of the law and the investigation. You have something like, I'd like to put it to you, you still have an investigation process like the medical two-finger test, which is such a shame. It's a medical rape of the rape victim. And yet it continues, and it is not featuring enough in our debates. Whereas we are debating over the naming or not naming.
Kiran Bedi says both debates can happen simultaneously.
No, it's not happening. It's not happening is what I'm feeling.
Okay.
I feel it's getting lost.
You fear it's getting lost. Kiran Bedi says both debates can happen parallelly. But Meenakshi Lekhi, maybe the time has come for everyone, including political parties, to step back a bit. Let's reach a consensus on the law. If there is a special session of parliament, let's reach it there. If it's through the Justice Verma panel, let's reach it there. But why get into this tug of war over how should we honor the girl? Should we reveal her identity and her future? Do you believe that that is going to be a distraction? And politicians like distraction.
Exactly. No, I don't think BJP likes distraction, but this point is very valid for the present government because the manner in which it has handled the crisis. And so far as Justice Verma Commission and Justice Usha Mehra Committee is concerned, I have 2 points to make.
Yes.
There has been a judgment in 1997 which has pointed out the guidelines. Those guidelines lay not till date followed.
Yes.
Then we've had 2000 and 2001 172nd Law Commission report, which has till date not been implemented. Then we've had 2010 Home Ministry protocol about safety of women. Now these two committees or commissions are not going to decide anything new, and this is again a PR exercise. So naming or not naming cannot be a PR exercise or a makeover exercise for a government which has been lying defunct for such a long time. This is my point.
Okay, I get your point. I think you made it strongly. I'm going to give you, Kiran Bedi, the final word. Are you still convinced that both these debates can carry on simultaneously, that we can consider, as Ranjana Kumari says, America has a different system? Should we break away from that and consider naming a law after her and simultaneously carry on a debate about the contents of the law? Is that possible, you believe?
I see no conflict. The name issue is different, and drafting an amendment of the Indian Penal Code is different. I see no conflict. On the contrary, it strengthens each other. Secondly, it's time to think out of the box. Americans do it. They commemorate the name of the victim. There's a Brady law, there's a Megan law, there's a Jersey law, there's so many. They commemorate it.
We are a different society.
It's time to move on.
We are a different society.
But we've got to stop victimizing. We've got to stop looking down upon it. That's the only way.
Okay.
If the substantive law is different, then let's name the movement in her name. This movement is needing to be named. Let's name the movement in her name.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay, there seems to be a greater consensus at the moment on that, naming the movement than the law. But Kiran Bedi, Kavita Krishnan, Ranjana Kumari, Meenakshi Lekhi, appreciate your joining us on our top talking point tonight. Where do we stand? Editor's take. As a people, we love the name game. But in the aftermath of the terrible gang rape in Delhi, we can't afford to lose focus. Yes, we can consider naming a law after the girl, but let's leave that to a later date. We don't need symbolism at the moment, but substance, which would come through giving the country a better legal framework to deal with crimes against women. Meanwhile, embarrassment also for the Trinamool Congress because raunchy dance numbers were